There are many characters in Star Wars Legends whose stories cross eras, knitting together major events in galactic history through their involvement. And of them all, none of them exemplify this more than Gilad Pellaeon. During the Clone Wars, he served as Captain Pellaeon, the commander of a Sol Republic warship. Nearly 40 years later, as the Supreme Commander of the Imperial Remnant, he ended the Galactic Civil War. Along the way, he can safely be said to have seen it all. In this video, we'll be discussing this incredible Legends character who doesn't get nearly as much credit as he deserves.
Attention, Sergeant on deck!
Pellaeon was born on Corellia in 51 BBY, and from an early age, he was eager to get involved with the judicial forces, what passed at the time for the Republic military. At age 15, he persuaded a slicer to alter his records so that he could get into the Raytal Academy, one of the most prestigious judicial institutions. He graduated in the top third of his class without honors, and in 36 BBY, he entered the judicial forces as an ensign. He would be in military service for the rest of his life. Ensign Pellaeon was quick to prove his worth. While stationed on a ship above Gavran, pirates attacked, and he only narrowly evaded capture. Thinking quickly, he steered his ship into the planet's magnetic pole, disrupting the sensors of the pirate ships and enabling him to get the drop on them. The incident at Gavran ended with Pellaeon destroying the attackers, and he received both commendations and a rapid series of promotions for his work. He spent the next few years spearheading efforts to fight piracy in the Outer Rim. By the time the Clone Wars broke out, Pellaeon was already a judicial captain, and he was quickly made a captain in the New Republic Navy, in command of the Republic assault ship Leveler. He quickly came to respect the clones that he was serving alongside, taking note of their professionalism and seeking to eliminate personal distinctions between himself and them, refusing some of the privileges that ship's captains often got, like a private chef. Fairly early in the Clone Wars, the Leveler received an upgrade to its torpedo systems, followed by a 3-day shakedown cruise to test them. Pellaeon had none other than Captain Rex and Ahsoka Tano as guests on his ship during the cruise. He got on well with Rex from the start, though he took more time to warm up to Ahsoka. The cruise, however, was interrupted by the war. A Republic intelligence agent required an immediate extraction on Jan Fatal, and the Leveler was the closest Republic asset available. Pellaeon helped coordinate the extraction from orbit, and things went smoothly at first, but the arrival of a Separatist destroyer complicated matters. Outgunned and thinking quickly, Pellaeon had the Leveler jump away, intending to jump back at a different angle to evade the destroyer. Hyperdrive problems put a kink in this plan, but the problem was eventually fixed, and with the help of Anakin Skywalker, Pellaeon was able to rescue the assets on Jan Fatal. In the battle that ensued with the Separatist warships above the planet, Pellaeon eventually emerged victorious. Pellaeon fought in the Republic Navy for the rest of the war. He served at Mercen, where Darth Sidious orchestrated a battle to kill a Jedi that threatened his plans. He was instrumental in a Republic victory at Gavtakar, and he spent much of the war's final months at Seleucami, where the Republic was entrenched against a force of Separatist clones called the Morgukai Shadow Army. Despite his accomplishments, he received no promotions over the course of the war, and remained a captain when the Empire rose to power. Pellaeon, like most Clone Wars era non-Jedi Republic officers, was fiercely loyal to the Empire, and his loyalty was rewarded when he was assigned to be the executive officer aboard the Chimera, one of the new Imperial Star Destroyers. In this role, he served under a wide range of important Imperials, including Grand Moff Tarkin, Admiral Piet, Senior Captain Thrawn, Darth Vader, and even the Emperor himself. Despite this, his career stalled for nearly 20 years. Despite being promising, he never really advanced during the time of the Empire's supremacy. During this period, many of Pellaeon's colleagues began to grow disillusioned with the Empire. When the Alliance to Restore the Republic was formed in 2 BBY, many of them jumped ship to join the rebels, including many that had served under the Republic during the Clone Wars, most notably Jan Dodona. But Pellaeon didn't follow their lead. He had his qualms with the Empire, but those qualms were mostly with the Sith. He disliked Darth Vader and Palpatine's Death Star projects. But his resentment never turned into disloyalty. He considered the Imperial Navy as his family, and he refused to turn against it. And so it came about that, in 4 ABY, that Captain Pellaeon served aboard the Chimera at the Battle of Endor. Victory, it seemed, was certain. The Emperor, aboard the Death Star, sat waiting for his ultimate triumph. When the Rebel fleet arrived and the Death Star was revealed to be operational, a massive Imperial fleet closed the trap around their enemies. Grand Admirals Declan, McCarthy, Tackle, and Tashik, together with Admiral Piet of Death Squadron, were assured of their impending triumph. But in war, things usually don't go to plan, and this was no exception. Death Squadron's communications ship went down, hampering coordination. When the Force-sensitive Grand Admiral Declan was killed as well, the battle meditation that the Imperials had been relying on was lost as well. The Executor was the next to fall, taking Piet with it. An ion cannon blast claimed the lives of Pellaeon's superior officer, and then came the worst loss of all, that of the Death Star. Against all odds, the rebels had triumphed. With his commander dead and the Imperial fleet in disarray, it was Captain Pellaeon, now the commanding officer of the Chimera, that gave the order to retreat to Anaj. At Anaj, Pellaeon suggested that the Imperial Navy head back and strike Endor before the news of the Emperor's death spread, taking the rebels' victory from them. But he was overruled by Admiral Hask, and command ultimately fell to him and Admiral Pritik. Pritik was indecisive for so long that Hask and other officers broke off, becoming the first of the Imperial warlords. Any chance of now crushing the New Republic before it could establish itself was now lost. For years after Endor, the Galactic Civil War continued. The Empire fractured more and more as warlords began to squabble over territory and power, and the New Republic broke their grip on countless systems. In 7 ABY, the New Republic captured Coruscant. Pellaeon watched all this unfold with disappointment, but he remained loyal to what was left of the Empire. And then, in 8 ABY, his hope returned when he lay his eyes on Grand Admiral Thrawn. Thrawn's subsequent campaign against the New Republic is one of the most well-known parts of the EU. In fact, the trilogy of novels that told its story can be credited with the resurrection of the Star Wars fandom. It is worthy of its own video, and so we won't go into the details of it here. But through it all, Captain Pellaeon was right in the thick of things. He served as Thrawn's second in command through the whole thing, and when Thrawn was finally killed at Bilbringi, it was Pellaeon's personal belief that the last hope for the Empire went with him. Thrawn's death was one of the best insights imaginable into Pellaeon's character. His status as Thrawn's right-hand man meant that he easily could have taken the Imperial Remnant for himself or anointed someone to do it. But he didn't. Instead, he chose to serve the Imperial ruling council that emerged next, refusing to partake in the warlordism that destroyed the empire he believed in and fought for. At the end of it all, he was still an idealist. When Palpatine returned after the death of Thrawn, Pellaeon served in Operation Shadowhand, though the campaign cost him the Chimera. After Palpatine's defeat, Pellaeon retreated to the Deep Core, where he reluctantly sided with Warlord Teradok, who finally promoted him to Vice Admiral. In 12 ABY, he jumped ships to join Admiral Natasi Dalla as she sought to reunite the Imperial remnants, and was with her at Sos Beacon when she assassinated the remaining warlords. Dalla and Pellaeon successfully united the Imperial Remnant, but their campaign against the Republic ended in disaster. Dalla surrendered her command to Pellaeon and fled, making him Admiral at last, and now the ruler of the Imperial Remnant. Under Pellaeon's leadership, the Remnant abandoned the Deep Core in favor of a slice of space north of Ord Mantell, the last remaining swath of territory left to the Empire. Pellaeon and the Council of Moffs established the Remnant's new capital at Bastion. The war with the New Republic continued, and Pellaeon finally took point. He and the New Republic's Supreme Commander, Jial Akbar, clashed repeatedly. Pellaeon was a definite improvement over the warlords that he was succeeding, but he simply didn't have the resources to win a war with the New Republic. The Imperial Remnant was pushed back to a mere 8 sectors, which stretched from Bastion to Munilinst. The Galactic Civil War was without hope for the Empire. Pellaeon saw the writing on the wall. After a debate with the Moffs, Pellaeon proposed a meeting with the leadership of the New Republic. The result was the Pellaeon-Gavrusom Treaty of 19 ABY, a truce that finally brought an end to the Galactic Civil War. The New Republic and Imperial Remnant established friendly relations, and peace was restored to the galaxy at long last. Or at least it would be until the Yuuzhan Vong came 6 years later. The story of Gilad Pellaeon didn't end there, of course. He wanted to fight in the Yuuzhan Vong War and then in other wars beyond. It wasn't until 41 ABY that his story finally came to an end, when as Jacen Solo led the galaxy into a second civil war, he ordered the Empire to side with the Coalition being built by Luke Skywalker, a move that ultimately led to the defeat of Solo, who by that point had taken the name Darth Caedus. The act earned him a fatal blaster wound, and Pellaeon ultimately died in action above Fondor, having served in the Navy until the age of 90. So, that was the story of Gilad Pellaeon, the old man of the Empire. But as per usual guys, I want to know your thoughts. Would you be interested in other interesting character profiles like this one in the future? Make sure you let us know in the comments section below. And as per usual, if you want to join the wider Geetsly community, we do have a bunch of links in the description below that are waiting for your clicks, including our main Discord server, all of our Discord servers for our Geetsly's gaming network, which include our Gary's mod and our Roblox, and a Patreon link if you want to help support the channel more than you already are by watching these videos. Anyways guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.